Well, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. We are so thrilled to be here with you this evening. My name is Cella Morales, and I'm sure on the screen you saw I am Executive Director of JDW Cotillions. Joining me this evening as well is Tara Darby Rasheta. I'll let her go ahead and introduce herself.
Hi, yes, I'm one of our certified instructors and a program director. And Cella and I are both based in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but we travel and teach and manage programs all over the country. So we're excited to meet some of you tonight and hopefully answer your questions.
And to give you a little bit of background, today's event is primarily for parents of our fall season. So we have almost 60 programs across the country that host on an annual basis. During our fall season, we have about 15, give or take a few. I might be miscounting that. 15 programs that are hosting. We are present in all 4 time zones. So our Red Rock Cotillion that's in Las Vegas, our furthest west right now, is actually beginning tomorrow. And then we have people in Central from Des Moines to Texas, in the Mountain States from Utah to Colorado, in the Eastern, Alabama Central. So that also counts. And then in the Eastern, we have a few folks from New Jersey, Princeton, as well as the main line in Pennsylvania. So we're thrilled that you are all here with us today. On an annual basis at our programs, we welcome about 10,000 students. So you are the few who have decided to join us, and we hope that we can kind of give you a little bit of an sneak peek into the program and what to expect. So hopefully you can be a resource for the friends and classmates within your community. We have a number of folks who are still joining us. They will join us. They come. We are also recording this simply for the parents who wanted the information but can't necessarily make it during the 2 timeframes that we have available. So when we collected your RSVPs, we asked that you submit any sort of questions that you may have. We had number 1 question across the board was dress code. So we have quite a bit of information to share with you on dress code, a couple examples, and then we will have a full Q&A session at the end. So any questions that you may have, just jot them down, make a mental note. We'll open up the chat and then you can ask everything, we'll answer it directly. So without further ado, I'm going to go back to that PowerPoint. This time you don't have to listen to my music. So dress code, biggest thing, right? When students walk into the program, they want to know that not only are they dressed appropriately, but they're dressed in a way that matches their peers. It helps them feel confident. It also helps them walk into the atmosphere or walk into the environment with an atmosphere of respect about it. When we ask them to elevate their dress code, they elevate their behavior in turn. So that's one of the big reasons why we require this more conservative standard of the suit and tie for the gentleman, the blouse and skirt or dress for the young ladies. Whether the gentleman's suit is black, brown, tan, blue, gray, or otherwise is entirely your choice as parents. For the most part, we understand that it's pretty hard just finding a suit that fits a 9 to 13-year-old. So do your best and we'll work with you. With that being said, we have a number of different examples for our basic standard attire. So oh my goodness. From night 1 all the way through to night 5, we don't require really any exception to our attire. We typically maintain the standard of the ladies either separates as a blouse and a skirt or a dress. Typically, we ask that they go to about 3, maybe 4 inches above the knee. Keep in mind that they will be raising their arms when they're dancing. They'll be twirling, so shorts underneath are a great idea. And just keep in mind that tight dresses tend to ride up a little bit more, so they can become a little uncomfortable for the students as they're going. Strapless dresses are perfectly acceptable. Cap sleeve dresses all the way down to long sleeves, again, are completely fine. We do not recommend strapless or spaghetti straps. So if they have really thin straps, we do recommend that they either wear a little like bolero or shrug, cardigan of some sort, or perhaps a different outfit. And that's simply because in dance frame, the gentlemen do put their hand on the lady's shoulder blade to maintain that dance frame, and the skin to skin contact can get a little bit awkward when you're 12 years old. So we do recommend that the ladies have something that covers a little more on their shoulders, just so that they're not focused on the awkwardness, they're focused on the conversation at hand. The ladies can absolutely wear a casual sundress. They can wear something a little bit more advanced or more formal in terms of chiffon or satin. They can wear Heels, they can wear flats. It's their choice. We do ask that whatever shoes they wear, one, are suitable for dancing, moving, twirling, spinning, the whole 9 yards. It is not necessarily a sport as we understand sports, but it is an athletic endeavor to a sense. We do not require any sort of hosiery, tights, or nylons. They may wear them if they choose to, but they are not required in order to attend. We don't require them to wear their hair in any certain way, whether it is up or down, braided or back. They may wear their hair however they are most comfortable with, but again, they will be dancing, turning, twisting, and spinning. And I had a student with a very long, thick braid at one point, and it turned into kind of a flail that ended up smacking her partner. So that wasn't the most fun for him, but of course, it's a recovery and something that we can laugh about later. For the gentlemen, if they would like to wear a suit, that is the blazer and the slacks that match, absolutely. Blue, black, gray, brown, completely fine. Tan as well. If they would like to wear separate, such as a sport coat or a blazer with some sort of khakis or a different style of slacks and pants, they may do so as well. Wear whatever is most comfortable for your child. Whatever you have in the closet is going to be the best option. First and foremost, we're not asking that you go to any great expense, but we are asking that you help us maintain that sort of elevation standard. For the gentlemen, they can wear a bow tie. They can wear a straight tie. They can wear a skinny tie. They can wear a thick tie. It's entirely their choice, but we do ask that they wear a tie. At some of our programs, especially out in, like, let's say Midland, Texas and such, they will sometimes prefer to wear a bolo tie. We've had it happen. It's not the end of the world. It's still a tie, but we do like that when they stick to the straight tie, bow tie, that sort of standard. One thing to cover with the gentlemen's shoes, if you are looking for shoes still, we do recommend a standard dress shoe. It does not have to be a hard-soled shoe, leather or wood. It can be a soft-soled shoe. That is totally fine. We simply ask that you stay away from the sneaker style shoes. Those tend to kind of draw the line between what's formal and what's not necessarily super formal. The gentlemen, for the most part, are a little bit easier. It doesn't matter what color their shirt is. It doesn't matter what color their tie is. But a dress shirt, a tie, a jacket of some sort, sport coat, blazer, suit jacket, and then their slacks. The closer look at all of these, whether they're in the younger class and they require gloves for the ladies, or they're in the older class and they don't, their attire for the most part is the same. Now, those gloves for the young ladies are typically a satin or cotton. They're a short white glove. We don't necessarily have a wholesaler or retailer that we go directly through for any of our programs. So I will say from personal experience, my little sister attended a program in Rockwall that was conducted by Tara, and Tara's daughters attend in East Dallas as well. We both bought them off of Amazon. They're like $6. I recommend you get 1 or 2 pairs. Just a closer look at a couple of these outfits. Again, if they choose to wear tights or even leggings underneath of their dress, that is perfectly acceptable. I know it's cold, especially up in Utah and Colorado, and Minnesota. We're hosting in Edina, Minnesota as well. It gets cold. Help your child be comfortable, but we ask that they don't wear super short dresses, even if they are wearing tights underneath. Closed-toed shoes are a wonderful option for the girls. They are still learning how to dance, so they are going to step on each other's toes. It happens. So just be in mind, or keep that in mind whenever you're buying shoes for your daughters. And when it comes to the parents' night, the final showcase, we invite the students to bring a guest along. This can be a parent, a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, a bonus parent. Whoever decides to show up for their child will be participating with their child, meaning that you'll be observing, taking photos, doing all that jazz, but you'll also be dancing. You can wear anything from a sundress standard to a cocktail dress standard for the moms. We don't have any limitations on straps, strapless for you. We're not going to tell you what to do. We will, however, remind you that you will be dancing. So heels and straps and such are always better in terms of keeping motion in mind. For the gentlemen, whether it's a tan, a black, a gray, a charcoal suit is absolutely acceptable. We ask that you follow the gentleman's standard as well. And helping us with those ties, I know we don't like to wear them. For the most part, we're a much more casual society now, but we do ask that you help us follow the same rules to the most part for the gentlemen. We never require the moms to wear gloves, even if your daughters do, so you don't have to go and buy yourself a separate pair. So with our dress code, for the most part, it is detailed on our announcements tab. So if you go to the basic cotillion.com homepage, top right, you'll see the announcements. About the second or third tab on there, you'll see a detailed dress code list. If your program has any sort of theme night, you will also see some different options for your theme dress code there as well. If you're looking for our curriculum and your class focuses on each of the registration pages, you'll have the date and the focus in the middle. The time is in the top right. And then all of the boilerplate information that gives you a basic overview would be down below, both the photos and the schedule. On usually our third or fourth night, we have our most requested night of curriculum, which is our dining etiquette night. So I'm going to throw it to Tara so she can explain a little bit more of this formal standard that we use when we're teaching dining etiquette.
Yes, this is one of my favorite subjects to teach, and I know as parents, we really value this type of education. And wonderful thing is that whether your program has a formal dinner or not, usually that's only for our older students, and not every program hosts a dinner, but every student will receive an interactive dining etiquette lesson. And it's really amazing to just kind of watch them as it's starting to click, and especially at the final parent showcase when oftentimes the instructor will ask the students to share with their parent or guests something that they learned during that lesson. I mean, they could talk and go on and on and on and on because we cover a lot of really important material that they can instantly put into practice, certainly in formal dining situations, which is what we're focusing on in the lesson, but these skills can absolutely be applied at home as well, which we encourage them to do. And if you're not sure if your program has a dinner, that's also where you can go to the registration page for your particular program and learn more about it. Most of our students are in a club cotillion or a social skills essentials cotillion level, and our classes do advance. So if your child has attended in the past and they're attending again this year, it's likely that they're leveling up to a new level. And so the great thing about that is that if your child does return year after year, we're advancing the curriculum. Of course, there's an element of review, and I don't know about your kids, but my kids need a reminder a whole year later. So even when there is somewhat of a review, I think it's really beneficial for the students. So even if it is a club cotillion class that your child is in or cotillion level, they're still going to have a really intensive dining etiquette lesson, and then it becomes more advanced for our social skills essentials and ACP students who tend to be older, and that's usually when a dinner is offered in your program if it's possible. And so you can look on your registration page to find out more information about that. If your program does host a dinner, your program manager will be emailing all families to receive an RSVP prior to the event. And that's also where we'll compile information regarding any dietary restrictions so that we can communicate directly with the chef or the country club to ensure that every child is safe during that lesson as well.
And our menu, for the most part, across the country is incredibly child friendly. We have used pretty much the same menu for about 40 years at this point. We were founded all the way back at the Broadmoor in 1949. So we've been doing this whole, we have not, I should say, but JDWC has been doing this whole social skills education for 76 years now. With 60 programs across the country, we have a huge variance in the communities that attend. But we also have quite a bit of internal standards that we maintain. So the same education that your children receive in Las Vegas, they'll also be another child all the way over in Princeton, New Jersey, who's learning relatively the same thing in the same manner from the same certified instructors for the most part. Our program operates to where the younger classes are the foundational course. So whether that's the cotillion or club cotillion level 1 or level 2, level 1 is very, very, very much the beginner's course. So these are essentially the appetizers of the later lessons that we'll teach. It is opening their eyes to this idea of that, oh, there's something bigger than myself. And then the club cotillion class invites them to develop the confidence to interact with that. By the social skills essentials class, our level 3, They are developing something that we call social responsibility. So, this idea of taking responsibility for themselves, of those who are with them, and operating with a sense of care, respect, and courtesy for those that they're interacting with. The idea is that as students continue along their education with us, that they're advancing, learning new and different dances, as well as more complicated patterns as they age up. Our goal is to challenge them. That's the point. We want them to be challenged in a safe environment where it's okay to mess up. It's okay for them to fumble through an introduction. It's okay for them to ask an awkward question. It's okay for them to use the wrong fork. So that when it comes time for them to do it correctly, they will have had the experience in class and the confidence in order to navigate that. With our Club Cotillion and SSC, we have 3 standards of dance that we teach. So, well, I should say 4. I apologize. The first are the ballroom standards. You'll see dances like the foxtrot and the waltz. Then we have our Latin standards. For the younger kiddos, that's usually the cha-cha, sometimes the very beginnings of the bachata. And for the older classes, that's dances like the salsa, the merengue, the bachata, in a more advanced sense. And then we have swing dancing. For the younger students, that's our swing hustle. For the older students, it's the East Coast swing. We have many different standards of dance, but they learn these in repetition with a partner, not in a sense where it's a performance, but much more so that it's a vehicle to teach all these tools and skills and everything else that they use when they interact. So we can talk ad nauseum about respect for your partner, but you learn respect when it comes to standing in that dance frame that's really close, speaking to each other with kindness, and treating each other well in the process. So, very much social skills focused, and then dance is the activity that we do. With all of that being said, we also welcome parents to chaperone. Our chaperones function as kind of the anchors in class. They're our hosts. So I'm going to throw it to Tara to kind of describe our receiving and dismissal lines and what chaperones do.
Sure. So one of the first lessons we teach is about making a great first impression, and that happens the first time you meet someone new. So every time our students enter the ballroom or the venue space where your program is hosted, we always begin with a formal receiving line. It's an opportunity for our students to practice formally introducing themselves to adults or chaperones, and then also formally introducing themselves to their first dance partner of the evening. We change our students change dance partners a lot throughout class, and every time they do, they're practicing that formal introduction again because we know that practice makes perfect. So they're doing that every time they enter the ballroom. So if you would like to assist with class, that's one of the ways that you'll help us with that receiving line at the start of class. And then at the end of class, we have a dismissal line where the students are expressing gratitude, both through their body language, a gesture of respect, which we practice, and also, of course, through their words. So they're walking up in escort position with their partner, thanking the chaperone for their assistance, turning and thanking their partners, and then the gentlemen take a step back and allow the ladies to exit the dismissal line. So that formality of class is really important, and that sort of bookends each class that we have. There's always a receiving line, and there's always a dismissal line except for at the final party parent showcase. And if you choose to chaperone, it's a wonderful way to observe class. Not all of our programs have space for parents to sit and observe during class. Sometimes they do, but when they don't, if you volunteer to chaperone, that's a way to get into the room and see more about what our curriculum entails and what the students are doing, and also to see all the laughs and smiles and hear the giggles, because I'm sure that your children will not share that with you at carpool, but we get to see it as instructors, and it really is amazing to see how at the start of class there's lots of jitters and everyone's kind of quiet and nervous, and then as the classes progress, even just within the hour or certainly through the course of a season, you really get to see how the students loosen up and they're gaining their confidence and growing those skills right before your eyes. So it's a wonderful opportunity to be able to observe that.
And we really do recommend that you use chaperone. You'll get an opportunity to just kind of be a fly on the wall and see the final party, or final showcase, I should say, is very, very dance forward. This is where we're kind of explaining and showcasing what we've learned, but it is a celebration. It's not lessons. So if you get the opportunity to drop in and see the lessons, see how we teach it, how we kind of walk that really fine line between the formality and conservatism that we value in the etiquette standards, and then the modern social skills. I mean, how do we talk about tech etiquette in an age where all of the etiquette books were written about 50 years ago? It's a little bit different. So we have a lot of information to share that's just impossible to communicate at the final party alone. You will receive a Sign Up Genius link from your program manager. If you have not already for your programs received an orientation, that will also detail a lot of the information that we talked about today. So when it comes to both of those emails, please make sure that you are adding that email from us to your inbox, to your contact list. Just make sure it doesn't go to junk. There is vital information in all of those emails, and we have a phenomenal central office in Denver that does a great job at making sure that every single program gets the information that they need in a timely manner. At this point, parents, we don't want to keep you all too long, so we're trying to move into our Q&A session. We have a couple questions already in the chat. However, if you have those questions that have come up as we've been talking, please feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll just keep scrolling and answer them as we can. So Thomas asked, what age girls need the gloves? It depends on your program. So if you have a Cotillion student or a Club Cotillion student, which we set these classes with their grades differently depending on what community you're a part of. Typically, Club Cotillion and Cotillion are elementary, and then that social skills essential would be the middle school or the junior high class. So it depends on where your school district breaks. If your child is typically 5th grade and younger, more often than not, they'll be in a Club Cotillion, and the ladies do need gloves.
You can go to your registration page if you're not sure, because on the announcements page, I know it can be confusing. Each program is truly unique and there are differences. So if you attend, just go to cotillion.com. You can search for your state and then your city and then your program, and you can find out specifically when it's required. It's always okay for girls to wear gloves. So even if an older girl is going to be more comfortable dancing with a young man by wearing gloves, then that's welcomed, but it's often not required for the older students, but that's certainly a per program, case by case scenario.
Absolutely. And Alicia, I believe that also answers your question. I would opt, if you're ever having a question between the announcements page and your registration page, opt for the more specific one to your program. Your registration page will be the final say in that. Brian, yes, it depends. Registration typically, or I'm sorry, did I scroll beyond what I need? Okay, so Brian Roberts asked, he registered his son and he would like to now register his daughter. Yes, registration is still open even past the first class. So we have a lot of students who will have a great time, go and talk to their friends want to come. We do keep registration open until that second class. We, however, do not have the ability to prorate registration in any sense. So if you have a friend, a colleague, or whomever who registers a little bit later, they're welcome to do so. We just can't change it from the back end perspective. But if your child has a great time, you spread the word and they want to bring someone along, please by all means do it. They have so much more fun when they have a friend in class.
For sure.
And thank you for volunteering to chaperone. We'll be connecting you with the program managers after this and get you the link that you need for your specific program. Okay, Dr. Richardson, we are thrilled to have you chaperone. And if you need to wear sneakers after surgery, we would be happy to have you. We'll make a note of it whenever you chaperone and just let our program manager know. Chaperones will help in the receiving line. It is a standing position, same with the dismissal line, but we will oftentimes have punch or have a dancing portion where chaperones also work well in. So if you need to sit during that as well, we're happy to have you and really just want you to be able to witness it with your child. Jenny, are both parents able to come to the final showcase? I heard you say one parent. Tara, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, so this is also dependent upon your program. So sometimes we have space constraints in our venues whereby we just can only have our students and one parent. But when there is space, we love for both parents to attend. So if you can type in the chat which program you attend, and I can probably give you an answer. And if not, we can find out for you. But prior to that final showcase, an email will go out with more information. And that will be clearly stated about who can attend.
Awesome. Okay. Clarissa asked, the elevated dress code is for every single class. Yes. The only exception would be if your program has a theme party. Not every program has a theme party. The same as not every program has a dinner. So if your program has a theme for whatever theme it is, it will be listed on the registration page, and that is the only night that they can dress outside of the elevated dress code. If, however, they don't want to do the theme and they don't want to dress up and that's just not your child's thing, that is absolutely fine. They can still wear their standard cotillion attire. Jonathan asks, what is the appropriate dress for a first time for a teenage boy or girl? If I'll get back in and show you, I think we had some folks join a little later. I'm going to pop these photos back up on screen really quickly, just so you can get an idea. Suit separates, dress and skirt separates, suits of just about any color are perfectly fine. We understand that they are, they're middle schoolers. We're lucky if they get into a suit at this point, right? So we're happy that they come dressed up, but these are really good examples of what's appropriate in the class. A longer length dress is a great move. A shorter dress does pose some risks in terms of the dancing portion. Okay. Megan asked, cotillion for first exposure.
Sorry, I had to pee really bad. Did
How
you
can
guys
I
all?
help my
Okay.
son prepare so he doesn't feel like he's behind? Oh, that's a great one. Okay. You can share with him that when he comes into class, the very first part will be the receiving line. This is where he meets a chaperone, and then he'll meet his first partner of the evening. Once he's with a partner, they're operating together in that escort position where they're a team. So he'll always have someone with him that he can kind of look to and rely on of, are you catching the same things that I'm catching in this? Are we doing the same things together? Once he's with a partner, they will converse together, they'll work together, they'll do the exercises together, they'll dance together. And we switch partners very, very frequently throughout the class. So it's not unheard of for your child to have 6 or 7 partners throughout the entirety of the night.
No.
This is an opportunity for them to meet new people and converse with new people and start that process again and again of introducing themselves to their partners. He'll stay with a partner throughout the entire class. So you'll most likely have 2 to 3 dances a night. So they might learn something like the basic of the foxtrot and then the basic of the swing hustle. And then they might do a fun line dance or maybe a cultural dance like the heel toe polka that just gets them up and moving and kind of drops those worries and anxieties a little bit, because honestly, it's a goofy dance that's just really fun with middle schoolers. So something like that, maybe giving him the rubric would help. If you want to go over basic introductions, kind of give him a leg up on the first night, that might also help so he feels like he's really into the mode and ready to go.
And while certainly a lot of students do return to Cotillion year after year, many students attend one season. So even if there are other students in his level who've attended in the past, he will be with students that are there for the first time.
Absolutely. And that being said, we don't require any prerequisites for our course. There's no outside volunteer work. They come in. A lot of our students will have some idea, but the majority won't. So we do start from a baseline, and our instructors are very intuitive in their teaching standard, in that they're receptive of the students, where they are, how it's being received, and they tailor their instruction to the students. So if I'm going out and teaching and I lead them through the foxtrot and they pick it up quick, we will advance it based on how the students are responding. But the opposite holds true. If they are not picking it up, I will take the time and slow down, and maybe we just do the basic, but they are confident in the basic and they walked away with a sense of accomplishment after the interaction with their partners. Miss said, what is the process to let you know that my child would be missing their first class? This is a great one. We have students who miss a program left and right, whether it is, or miss a session at their program left and right, whether it's illness, sports, family, emergencies, whatever it may be. If you email us, we can get a note to the instructor and come the next class if you want to show up about 5-10 minutes early. Most of our instructors are happy to offer a quick review for anything that might have been missed.
So Jenny, I think you had the question about, can both parents attend the final party? And at Waco, yes, for sure. We definitely have space at the Baylor Club.
Jen also said Littleton, Colorado, same question about final party. So that's at Columbine Country Club. You're welcome to bring both. We have tons of space. Jesse said, when is the next session in Boulder? I already missed the first class. So the Boulder program, let me just make sure I have the dates because I don't have all of these.
I can look it up real quick. It looks like the next class is September 28th.
Okay, so
Next
this
week.
upcoming Sunday. So the next session on the 28th, registration for Boulder is still open if it's only the second class. So you can still join, and if you've already registered, great. Feel free to come a little bit early. I believe the instructor for that class is Gabrielle Gabrielle Adams. She's married now. And I know she would be more than happy to offer a quick review to your child beforehand. So that 5 to 10 minutes would be a wonderful move for them to get up to speed and then jump into class. Okay. Julie asked, if my son is nervous about the dance part, what can I tell him for why this is important? One of my favorite things to say every time a student asks me, why do I need to know this? So when you get to college, you look really cool at the formal, and you're not just the kid that's standing off to the side. You're the one that can go up and ask someone to dance, and suddenly everybody wants to hang around you. But outside of a social standard, we have found that dance actually helps them lower their inhibitions. When they can focus on, I need to make a box step with my feet, it gives their conscious brain something to do. So then the interaction becomes a little bit more intuitive, a little more natural. So then it's not, I'm obsessing over saying the right thing or the wrong thing or the right tone of voice or making eye contact for 3 seconds at a time. It becomes this sort of, we're working together. You're on my team. I'm on your team. We're not against each other, and we're just having fun. We play really fun, interesting music. You know, we'll play anything from Frank Sinatra to Bruno Mars. So we get them moving and grooving and really just drop that level of worry so that we're not just sitting around droning on about, you need to use sir and ma'am, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. It becomes a showing them what we're doing together. Julie also asked Birmingham, the club, does it have enough space?
Yes, for sure, for both parents to attend.
Okay.
And then Thanksgiving Point would be the same answer.
Chester Valley has more than enough space. Radnor Hunt is a gorgeous old horse club and plenty of parking, plenty of space. We'd be happy to have you and your family. For Des Moines, gloves are not mentioned. Directs to account announcement space. So Des Moines is a brand new program. We might be combining those classes just because our numbers are a little bit low this year. So we didn't list anything about gloves in the event that they combine. If they combine, gloves are not required. They are welcome if you would like to wear gloves and you already have them. Your daughter's more than welcome to wear them. But given that when we combine the classes, the younger students move up to the older class, and then we sort of blend the lessons a little bit, they wouldn't be required. Renee asked, do some kiddos wear the same outfit each session? Yes. I see boys wear the exact same suit with the exact same shirt with the exact same tie. And I was very much the girl who found the outfit that I liked, and I wore exactly that outfit for about 3 years straight. So, you know, your child's going to do what they do. It's not the end of the world if they don't want to change their outfit. It's not the end of the world if, you know, we're wearing an open-toed pair of shoes when we recommend a closed-toed. What we want is for them to show up and be comfortable.
Okay, so I see a Druid City question. So in Druid City, that's a unique program where we have a 3rd grade introduction to Cotillion class. 3rd graders are so young, and usually our programs start around 4th grade. We do have a few third grade classes like Druid City. So in that introduction class, it's sort of just a taste of what they'll be learning when they return in that fourth and fifth grade class. We're going to do some very basic dances. We usually do 2 dances that night. The students will learn how to properly introduce themselves to adults and to one another. They'll also learn how to serve one another when we do punch. So it's just kind of like touching on the foundational elements of Cotillion, and then we grow that when they attend the full course of full season of Cotillion, which would begin in 4th grade for them.
I host one of these courses at my program outside of DC, and I will say that it's ripping the Band-Aid off. So sometimes in these programs, it's easy to have that little trial class. Not every program offers it, but when we do recommend that you make kind of an effort to go and make it a big deal for them. You know, celebrate that they did it. It's an awesome thing for them to jump out of their comfort zone, especially that young.
Well, and in East Dallas, we do have a 3rd grade class that is a full season of Cotillion, and I see a question about final party. Yes, both parents will be invited to the final party here in Dallas, East Dallas.
Mary, yes, we have been recording the entire session. We will send a recording to all parents who have RSVP'd. So from the ones that attended this morning at 11 noon, we will send it to them as well as everyone here. So if you've seen it, ignore it, but we'll get it to you. Promise. Brian asked, I'm in Des Moines. I can try and get more kids. Can a 13-year-old join?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So yeah, Tara, take it. I'm sorry.
Well, so, some of our programs are very well established. We have programs that have hosted at the same country club for 76 years, 58 years, 30 years. But then we have some new programs, and Des Moines is one of those. And, anytime we start a new program within a community, we really want to create a long-standing tradition, a rite of passage in that community. And that's what many of our programs have already become. But we would love for you to invite more students in Des Moines so that we can continue that tradition in your area. And so right now we've got a 5th grade class and a 6th and 7th grade class. Sometimes we get questions about if an 8th grader can join. If you have something specific like that and it's not a grade that's already listed for that child, always email the program manager. That's whoever you would have already received correspondences from regarding Des Moines, and we can answer that more specifically. But we would love to grow that 6th and 7th grade class. So thank you for your willingness to spread the word.
And sometimes with new programs, the grades that we chose don't necessarily work out with schedules. So sometimes after a couple of years, it switches. So if it's something that there are more 13-year-olds that are interested than there are 9-year-olds, sometimes we do pivot. So please reach out and let us know. The majority of these programs are community standards. So although we are a national organization, we are hyper local in how we run these programs, and we really do rely on parents sharing that information with us so that we can best suit the students who attend. Missed Cottonwood Country Club. That's a different one. So the program manager is not currently on right now. She was going to be here and had a quick emergency that she had to step away from. So Missed, if you would like, we can clarify that and then get back to you. I would like to say yes, but it all depends on which class. Sometimes that older class, especially with the high schoolers, gets really big. So we just have to be careful on that one. Allison, I believe we answered your question, so thank you so much. There are a couple programs along the South. She mentioned Little Rock. We do not currently have a program in Little Rock. However, if you have family members who are in a different city and such, like we said, Des Moines is starting up. So we're always happy to work with different folks. So if you have a great experience with us and you want to start it somewhere else for a cousin, a family member, whomever, please connect with us. Like we said, we are social butterflies. We will talk to you and work with you and make it happen. I promise. Maribel, chaperones do not have to wear gloves. And chaperones, I should mention, moms, you don't even have to wear a dress. You can wear slacks, especially if it's a weeknight. I know you're coming from work. We are not on the 1960 standard where you have to wear a dress to work anymore. So if you can follow more of like that elevated business dress code, we are happy to have you. We just ask that you don't wear jeans, you don't wear sneakers, and you don't wear any sort of athleisure or athletic wear. So leggings and such, not exactly cotillion minded. Kim, Edina Country Club. Yes, more than enough space. Okay, I think we've answered everything. Were there any more that we can clarify for you? We went a little longer than intended, but a lot of good information here.
Yes, thank you for your thoughtful questions, and we can't wait to meet you and your children very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you everyone so very much, and we'll see you soon.